Mr. Favio Ramirez-Caminatti now has the floor. Please go ahead, sir.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente.
Thank you very much, Chairman, distinguished ambassadors, members of the committee. Young people have a duty to defend their fatherland with the arms of knowledge, as Don Pedro Albizu Campos said, and that's why we are appearing before this noble committee with the view to giving a voice to those who don't have it. It would be incredible that in the 21st century there are 3.5 million US citizens, a country that claims to be the land of freedom, that find themselves in a system of political inferiority, which has been the main one responsible for the economic failure of the island. Compatriots have been plunged into a crisis that is no longer just economic, but is now a social humanitarian crisis. The cooperative atmosphere, the coasting law, have led to the destruction of the Puerto Rican economy and agriculture. Local business has been destroyed, characterized by high-quality products and Puerto Rican workforce. Students are being punished with an exorbitant cost of education, plunging young people into debt, pushing them to be part of a diaspora that grows with each passing day. And those who decide to continue defying reality, they have the health system continues to be deteriorating. The impoverishment continues. Not to mention the fact that our elderly people receive, in terms of Medicare, lower payments than the rest of the United States. It would be logical if people paid the same taxes, the benefits would be equal. That would at least be fair. That's what would be coherent and ethically correct. But all these inequalities make us think that there are A-class citizens and B-class citizens, which is completely incompatible with a country which professes to be democratic and calls for the equality of its inhabitants. After 118 years of a regime that's been unjust, the least we can call for is the legitimate right of Puerto Rican men and women to elect their own rulers. And no, we won't give in to the fallacy that we're electing a governor and a whole string of representatives when, with one strike of the pen, our sovereignty can be deleted, installing a fiscal board with greater powers than the elected governors, a board that the Puerto Ricans don't wish, made up of members who've never set foot on the island, appointed by the United States President, that the Puerto Ricans didn't vote for because they weren't allowed to vote for, and that has superpowers that go above the Constitution and transcend the powers of the elected officials. If this isn't a colony, then what is? I just have to read Bill H.R. 5278 to understand the division of colony. The declaration that was supported by President Obama, approved by the House of Representatives, whereby Puerto Rico doesn't have a single vote, independent of the political status of the island, which is a matter that needs to be resolved by the Puerto Ricans themselves without foreign interference or without interference of the political interests of the parties, because it's our inalienable right. As long as Puerto Rico is American territory as it is today, and while Puerto Ricans are American citizens, they should have the full legitimate right to vote for the President of the United States of America, regardless of whether they are based in Puerto Rico or any other state of the Union. Today, Puerto Rican men and women who live in Puerto Rico enlist in the armed forces to defend the flag and sovereignty of the United States, but they cannot vote for the commander-in-chief, who is the one that sends them to the battlefront. They leave their homes and families. They risk their lives to defend a democracy that they are not fully a part of. So as long as the night is, the sun will rise again, and it is our hope that the rays will illuminate our consciences and willingness. And as Betances said, men come and go, but it's principles that will endure and triumph. Therefore, we have come before the committee and the United States nations as a whole to call the United States government to consider the legitimate right of Puerto Ricans to vote for their president, at least until their political status is permanently defined. Finally, we join those who call on the U.S. President to immediately release political prisoner Oscar Lopez Rivera, who's been held for over 35 years. Oscar was decorated in the Vietnam War as he defended the U.S. flag. He's the longest-serving political prisoner and about 73 years old. He deserves to be released to live out the rest of his days with the people he loves in the land he loves. At Oscar, your family waits for you at home. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.